So, really there aren't rules um at all. And that's the apparent end. So this is an energetic communication. Uh, it's not a subject, so it is given a name called non-duality. Um, and what it seems like we like to do is put names on things and lines on things. And like, for example, you have an imaginary line in a plot of land, and that's a border. And on one side, there's a place called, let's say, Germany, or a place called France on the other side of that line. And it's like that with everything, really. And non-duality is another one of those things. And it becomes a subject, and there might even be uncompromising non-duality. And it's a way to sort of know things. It's a way to know it as a subject. So I know non-duality. I know, and that fella talks about, and he's uncompromising, and he's not so uncompromising, and rah 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 rah. But in actual fact, really, this is an energetic communication, and that's the best that you can say to describe this, because it's a total mystery. But the mystery is in and as questions and in and as this talking here. That's what the mystery really is, because nothing really is being communicated. There is a light being shone on a particular thing that is not really talked about. And it's at the heart of the communication, which is the suggestion that there's you and life. And really, that comes back to this whole idea of a subject. So we have subjects called non-duality, we have me, and we have you, and we have life, and we have things that we can know. And what this communication is saying is that there isn't you and life, and that can't be known. So that's an absolute killer, really, for this conversation and this communication, because it is a communication. It's two-way. Without it, really, there's a volunteering of this suggestion being made at the start, but really, it is a communication, and it comes alive when there's questions. Um, and it's just thankfully the ever freshness is that it can't be known. Because if it was a subject that could be known, probably everybody here would get an A. Apart from Laura, she'd probably get a D minus. Only messing Laura. You get an A. If it's about knowledge, we'd all get A's, because what is the communication suggesting? It's suggesting that there isn't you and life, and that can't be knowable. That can't be known. So energetically, this is just appearing to happen. And it's amazing, really, there's that there's anyone here, and it's amazing that it's not talked about everywhere and anywhere. This boundless happening, this total mystery of simply talking, this full-on aliveness, flooding the senses as seeing a bespeckled, hat-wearing, whatever, and lots of other faces. And that's it. This is nothing appearing to happen. So let's have a chat and let's see what's there to be said, if anything at all, or asked or whatever. And I'm pretty sure you all know the setup. In terms of if there's the question, just jump on in and ask it, and let's see what happens.
Something that comes up right now is that there's a story that like I barely eked out my native tongue of English, and then and then the orientation of whatever it thinks I'm supposed to be able to talk. And also, I know you don't emphasize that at all, Frank. You often talk about don't fucking try to get the language of it, because there isn't any, it can't be gotten, and there's no one doing it for sure. But like that tendency to imagine that there's some way to talk about it when there's no way to talk about this. Talking happens,
Yeah.
and it's so beautiful. But
Yeah, and it's nothing to do with all that rah 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 going on. That talking just happened there, and it's nothing to do with all the rah rah about. Like words live, the thinking lives as words, let's just say, and just always trying to understand. But it makes no difference to that. Just goes on. It makes no difference to the mouth suddenly talking and asking and saying that. Just happened, and there isn't a someone required to do any of that. So. Um, how can that which is not there be noticed as not being there? It's totally unknowable then. How can that which does not is not there fall away then? So it's of course it's natural then to sort of uh, try to understand and live in the words and all that. That's just how it is. Like it's sort of totally normal. It would be like if I was talking about anything, there would be a trying to understand that, you know. That's how it seems to be the communications happen. But that's why I said at the very start, this is an energetic communication and really has no rhyme nor reason, just appears to happen. And really, it's like everything, though. It just appears to happen. But this is sort of peculiar in most because we're so used to agendas and purpose and all that. And this doesn't have that. And it's sort of there is a safety in thinking in the oh, this is non-duality or this is frank and this is whatever. They're just sort of it's not there isn't non-duality. There isn't uncompromising non-duality. That's what this is saying, really. So that's why it's so totally energetic.
someone described this communication like as unrequited love. And
Yeah, it's not an image of love. It's so laden down as a word, but it is really that, yeah. It's not mine or yours, but it's so boundlessly unconditional that that's as good as anyway. But it is laden down with so much, that word, unfortunately. It's a great word though. With the unrequited also sort of interesting. That's slightly different. What do you mean? What do you mean by that when you say unrequited?
what's fascinating about that is that there isn't a subject to love. Like unrequited love typically means loving someone that doesn't love you back.
Hmm.
That isn't this, it's not subject object, and yet
No.
it still seems applicable somehow. Yeah.
It still seems what somehow.
Well, it still seems applicable in that it's unrequited because it already is.
Mm.
Like it is already. I mean, I know that doesn't make any sense either, but
Mm.
yeah.
I suppose there is sort of an aliveness. Yeah, it's very alive and real and raw. Real is an odd word, but it's very alive and raw and free, and so then it's of course vulnerable also, and yeah, it's just everything. It's definitely not protected in a state and sort of like this frozen image in time of total perfect easiness. It's raw, full on aliveness.
Hi Frank.
Oh yeah.
Is that Dobby on your head?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
I got it in a cheap shop.
I love it. It's great.
TK Maxx. I get a bargain from time to
Aha.
time. Yeah. It's not that I'm a fan of Dobby. All I've ever wanted is the Dobby hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
On another note, when you were just talking about, let's say, this communication and whatever, and that there is no subject and it's just energetically happening,
Hmm.
then I had to think about when I was younger. I was like often, like or often, I was repeatedly told by grown-ups that I should first think and then talk. And so apparently my way of speaking has been a bit too direct and too blunt. I don't know if that
Hmm.
is the correct English word. Yes. So and then yeah. But in a way, I feel like oh yeah, maybe it's not too bad to be sometimes a bit direct. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
well, it's
And the funny thing is that I was like, I don't speak. It's like not that I'm consciously speaking. It's like more like that the words always come out. It's like dung dung dung. It's like
hmm.
not so much thought over, if
Yeah.
I'm honest. Yeah.
Yeah, that is how it is. It's sort of like a vague view, thoughts, and then it's really just incomparable, really, to uh, to talking and to what's said, you know. And I think we're all, it seems to be trained, like really by nature, the child is wild and free and screams for milk, like screams and roars. So, and then we learn to rein that in somehow, that screaming and roaring to get, in a cafe doesn't go down that well, and it doesn't seem to be good for making friends or whatever. So we learn to adapt and adjust. And then in some instances, it's probably extreme with extreme sort of parenting and extreme conditions, let's just say. But and mostly that is how it is in every sort of environment, then, of doing it the right way, talking the right way, speaking correctly, learning how to do it correctly. And how do I do the being known correctly? It's like always confined. It's like this idea of meditation. It's, it's how to do it right. Am I doing it right, Lord? It's always like an authority who knows. And then this communication, there is no authority here. There's no one saying how to do it or not to do anything at all, really. So what's that then? So that's why, like, it's just this purposeless communication appearing to happen. It's sort of striking. It's not like anything else. But it's it's not top of the charts anytime soon. I don't see that happening. Hmm.
Yeah, as far as understand it correctly, it's a bit saying like, that this is already the case. It's already the case. Nothing needs to happen in order to make it happen, right? It's like it's already whatever is happening is already happening. It's
Whatever,
like
it's already the case.
it's
See, and
already the
it's
case. Yeah,
already the case. And that's why it's absolutely fucking impossible. And that's why it said nothing happens. That's
yeah,
why, because nothing happens. And
yeah.
even if it's a kind of a sniff of anything at all, it's like, oh, it's like I've got it. Now I've got it. Whereas, so how can then something be communicated? How can something be gotten, understood, had, when there's already no one there? But that's it's the problem with that, though, that sentence is such a striking sentence. It can't be understood. And it's useless. It's useless then. But because, like we were saying, this idea of doing it right, of getting there, we're so used to then something needs to happen. So then that suddenly I'll be there talking about this then. So nothing at all, like. So it's already over.
Hi, Frank.
Hiya.
Yeah. I was just going to ask you, when you say this is an appearance, what do you like? Does it feel like an appearance to you?
So I don't
Or
think I would say that this is, I would say appearing to happen, but I wouldn't say it's an
yeah,
appearance. To me, that just seems a little bit sort of ambiguous, as if there is
mm,
something that this is this appearance, and there's something that can know that it's an appearance, like back here. There's
yeah,
there's what is or what's appearing to happen, but that's not a known thing. We could sit in silence, but that doesn't seem to happen. You know,
mm,
it's just like that. This communication that is energetically appearing to happen, and it's
mm,
just a mystery, like everything. So it doesn't feel like anything at all. It doesn't feel like I can't. I can, in the same way, if I was to ask you describe what this is, could you
yeah,
describe what this is?
mm,
Could you describe what this is?
not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely
So
not. Mm,
I'd have to know it, and you sort of have there's thoughts about, well, okay, maybe this is a lovely way to communicate this or say this or whatever, but it should be back in knowing. It should be like describing something that had happened, and it should be like a historic sort of thing that could be known and held and had, and
mm,
it'd be like saying this morning, well, I had a cup of coffee, and that was everything. It's a sort of a description of a story of a sort of an event.
yeah,
But so then appearing to describe this immediately, well, like we can tell a story that it's about non-duality, but it
mm,
doesn't really cut it.
no. It's a bit like maybe like watching a movie then.
Well, it's also saying then it's a bit like watching a movie. So that's what's appearing to be said. So it's like trying to it can't this can't be caught or held onto
No,
because who could do that? Who could hold on to
can't
this
understand.
or have it or then describe it? So then it
Mm.
appears as saying it seems to appear as saying, well, it can't be talked about. But mystery is also saying that. So it's not, it can't, there isn't a here and a there that can be talked about because it does immediately, inescapably appear as suddenly talking and suddenly hearing the sound of a voice saying this.
Yeah,
So it's full on overwhelmingly just this then. And what can be said? Well, whatever the fuck appears to be said, but it's not subject
yeah,
object or here and there, up and down. It's as this. So that's why the reaction could well be just dancing or screaming, crying or laughing or who knows, or just going, all right. I want to go and watch the last episode of White Lotus. I'll talk to you later. Or whatever, which is really good.
yeah.
By the way, I haven't watched the last episode, so don't say a word about
I haven't seen it either.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Does the job.
Yeah. No, only when you said like, oh, can you describe? And I can't actually. So yeah.
Well, actually, though, wonderfully and beautifully and outrageously, it is as saying the mat saying, "I can't describe it." So,
Yeah.
if that's how did you do that?
Mm. Yeah. Just came out of my mouth.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, but apparently that's what I meant. That's what I mean. Apparently. Why do you say apparently?
Well, apparently is the most annoying word in the history of these sorts of communications. So I apologize for that, but it's sort of there's nothing it can't be named and held on to and as gotten as this or that. So then any really with any sort of sentence that whilst it's said, there's a sort of a freeness, and apparently is as close to freeness as you can get in the sense that there's nothing fixed or known about anything that's happening. So
Mm.
then the words coming out of the mouth apparently is well,
Yeah.
because okay, it sort of doesn't make it really noble though. That's a sentence appearing to be used.
Yeah. It just makes it sound like it's like there's a real and an apparent kind of thing, like an opposite.
Yeah, it's like the real and unreal, or being real and unreal at the same time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That I don't
Apparently,
understand
is
that.
annoying. I always found it annoying as a word, but it's sort of also a way it seems like to take the solidity out of. We're so used to living in facts and
Yeah.
real and the real, so like that this is this and that is that, and then so the word apparently sort of
Mm.
just seems to uh, take that away. But again, it's not done on purpose. It just seems to be used from time
Um,
to time as a word.
it just
So
means that. So you
mhm.
just mean that it's not solid,
Yeah, nothing
like
is
it's
solid and
moving.
real. Nothing is factual. We're not having a
Yeah.
factual, understandable communication where everything is just being explained and we all can nod in understanding. So there's no
Mm.
real. So it does, in a sense, the killer with this is it doesn't matter what's said at all because we're not trying to tell the
No.
truth. We're not trying to say it right or whatever. It's wild and free, and obviously it's just wild and free can appear sitting at a computer and just apparently talking. Apparently, there it is again. Look,
Yeah. That just gets me. Apparent.
apparently does, yeah.
Yeah.
You see, in a way, there's a sort of, we're so used to things being able to be known. That's how so it's like, oh yeah, okay, I sort of know what you mean. I gotcha. Yeah. Well, I don't know what I mean. So
Yeah.
I'm not really, I'm not explaining or saying anything that is the truth or,
Mm.
understandable. What we're talking about is this sudden isness, just what's appearing. That's really what we're talking about. And it is this ever freshness. Because if it wasn't this ever freshness, this immediate full sensory hearing, that's what's being talked about. If it was anything else, then we'd be in a sort of a linear, understandable thing that I could say, well, this is what this is. And if you just nod your head 3 times, then it all will become clear, like it's clear to me. But your
Mm.
nothing is clear at all. And so that's why apparently is as good as any word really to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Guess I don't need to understand it.
But it's just nothing to do with understanding, really.
Yeah.
But there may be questions about whatever X and Y, and that's what's happening. Then it doesn't matter really. It's
No.
like if it was about the couple of sentences, you see, like the sentence, what's being said here. Well, there's just what's appearing to happen, not you and what's appearing to happen. But that's when that's said or
Yeah.
spoken, normally that would always then be seen as, well, he must know that. Otherwise, he wouldn't say things like that. Why would he hold a meeting and say these fucking things?
Yeah.
Well, he's not holding a meeting and you're not attending it. And this is just energetically happening. It's just what's happening. So there isn't like a subject, like I said at the start, there isn't a subject called non-duality. So then what's
Yeah.
happening? Well, oh, I don't know. I don't know. So what do you mean you're holding a meeting and you don't know what the meeting's about? No, it's fucking mental. But it's the same, like, there might be a thought story about, oh, well, whatever, non-duality and getting this and coming to the meeting and all that, right? So it's the same here as, okay, there's a meeting, sent out a message, it's on Tuesday, whatever, all those things. It's the same story, but it doesn't really cut it. It doesn't really, it's sort of exposed as being very loose story. So that's why it sort of energetically resonates, really. And that's that's a curse also. Also a sort of that because um it would be let go of, it would be dropped, it would be forgotten about, and the next great thing would be moved on to. But it's not like that, it seems. It can't be let go of.
No.
Sorry to say.
And it's strange because I don't even know what
You don't
I
even
don't
know
even know what I'm
what?
looking for. I don't even know
Yeah,
what I'm looking for.
yeah.
It's
Well, you
crazy.
see, it's like that. It's like, and then if anything else is presented at a certain point, if anything else is presented, it's like, oh God, that sounds really so attractive, but it's also nauseating. It's also like, oh, you know. So nothing is being looked for.
And maybe that's the beauty in it. No,
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah,
Nothing.
absolutely
Nothing to look.
zilch. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Little bit of light.
Laura, I really liked it at one of the recent meetings where you asked, "Is this serious?" You asked that, right? Is this serious? Yeah.
Mhm. Mm.
Yeah, it was in one of Alexa's meetings. It was, I think, a recent one. And I at
Oh,
3 minutes before the end, I just felt like asking this question, and it was not a serious man question, anyways. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's the total opposite of seriousness, but then at the same time, when this seeking thing is sort of happening, it can be felt to be deadly serious, but it really is isn't. How could it be? So then sometimes then when it's absolutely fucking the depths of whatever, it's also hilarious. The hilarity seems to come through.
Frank, when you say how could it be, will you say a little bit more about that?
Well, it's totally wild and free. I mean, I suppose the association with serious is, something that is known and there's a way to be and how to speak correctly. And all of those things are linked in my mind with serious anyway. Whereas this is totally sort of abandoned and boundlessly free to be exactly how it is. Like it's not like, there's a correct way to get to jump in and ask a question or or ask, or even how a question should be asked. Oh, yes, you have two questions this evening, or whatever the fuck. It's just there's no rhyme nor reason. There's nothing planned out. There's no agenda set. So that's what I mean. But also at the same time, it is deadly serious. I remember this being deadly serious. I remember really just taking this whole fucking thing so seriously, seeking so seriously. I didn't really want to talk to anybody else. I just wanted to talk about this communication. I just, I didn't want to mingle at meetings or hear anybody's story about all the things that they had been doing in their seeking. I couldn't have given a fuck. I just wanted to talk and hear this communication. So I was sort of serious. There's no question about that. But also, yeah, I don't like serious particularly, larly.
Frank,
I,
are the senses more vivid for you?
no, there's just really there isn't anything for me, unfortunately. It'd be great if there was. I'd have a big
In
halo.
in this moment.
Yeah. So no, there's just fully what is. So you could tell a story about uh, you know, but it's not the case. It's full on aliveness. So including yeah, everything that can possibly be. Every sort of emotion, every sort of sensory thing, just everything full on. So I don't know. Yeah, beyond that, I think I would always say it was like that, really. See, I don't know how to do senses, and nor do you.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Um,
to do feelings or not do them. I mean, we can.
no, I meant like is everything more vivid and vibrant or
In so right now, is
full
everything
on
more vibrant than what?
than before? Um,
Than 15 minutes ago, or than go on?
before the shift or um,
See, so that's really at the core of it all is just tell us, please, Frank, that it's better. Really, I mean, that's the truth. It's much better, Frank. It is. It's absolutely brilliant. It's fantastic all the time. Everything is just fucking amazing, spectacular, non-stop. I'm literally on the cloud 24/7, flooded with love, unconditional, boundless love. That's what I have. No, unfortunately, it's just so ordinary, just this full on aliveness. And there was no shift. Thankfully, nothing happened at all. So nothing happens. The gateless gate is nothing happening. There's never a gate there. There's never a me. There's no one in there now asking that and hoping for it to be true, that his senses are suddenly fully glowing and alive. I've got better looking. What are you laughing at, Laura? You have not, Frank. You were better looking before. No, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say, nothing happens. Nothing.
there's no change in perception or like
What is perception?
mhm, just we in this moment what's seen and heard and felt.
So what can be said about that then this that's happening? This
Um, maybe more alive.
so more alive so that this just immediately now we're talking about just immediately what's happening, that it would be more alive. What is alive?
Like I imagine if I wasn't here, it would be more alive.
Right.
But
And what would it be like then? Just give me an idea of what image of what it would be like. What it could be like if you weren't there.
was that would be more like be more vivid.
More colorful,
I don't
like
know. Yeah.
the colors would be brighter. Just hold on a second.
Um,
I'm only- It'd be more. So this seeing then the seeing would be more
or it would feel
alive.
closer because there was yeah yeah. If there's no subject object, then it would be everything would feel closer or
Right. And would
yeah.
your eyesight have to be good? So, for it just for immediately what's happening, this right
Mm,
here, this
yeah.
it's called
This
apparently aliveness or life or whatever. This just
yeah.
immediately timeless, this talking without all the things that we have learned.
Mm, that needs nothing. Yeah.
But even like that idea that it needs nothing, what does that mean?
Like, um, it's kind of just spontaneously happening.
See, like there's nothing known here whatsoever.
Mm,
There might be held images and ideas of what this is, could be, should be, how it could be maybe better, because there's ideas that we're sold that everywhere it's sold that either somebody's sitting cross-legged and that their visual of the world is suddenly like uh more psychedelic almost, that chakras can be seen or felt, or that the but it's sort of stuck in a time. It's sort of there's someone that can see, someone who knows and then can describe
yeah.
this. But yet it is as talking and asking what was asked there. So what can be said about that? Well, actually, if there was an object over there, then it could be talked about, but it is as talking. So it is as asking that question,
Yeah.
wondering about the whether it's more vivid. It's just that nothing can be said really apart from learned words, like there's computer and there's Deepa and whatever, right? That's what can be said then.
Yeah.
But it'll never describe the immediate intimacy of simply um, hearing hearing happening, or the talking happening. It's like this, it can't be caught because it's so fully alive and immediately just what's happening.
Mm,
So I don't have anything then, but you don't have anything either because there isn't you that can have anything. Life is
yeah.
just simply falling apart constantly. Thoughts might try to, hold on to
Yeah.
certain things and know this and all that, but it's all free fall. It's all just happening. That's not a known thing either. So that's why there's none of these words mean anything really. It's just energetically happening. So like, it's an energetic communication appearing to happen, full as
Yeah.
this.
the exchange where like there was a feeling of getting something or whatever, and then there's like, okay, where do I get food? Or where is Elm Street? Or I mean, and there's such an affection around that kind of knowing that I suppose is related to this just staying alive, even though like the basics of that kind of thing of practical knowledge. I don't know, like all of a sudden when that question came up that can't be known, it just seemed like, where's the next ice cream cone? Or, whatever. I don't know why this is being said. So.
Well, knowing can't be known. So it's like sometimes I go, wow, I've just remembered my fucking PIN. Isn't that great? I'm just, you PIN from my bank card. I go, oh, it's there still. Woohoo! Because it's like, I go to key in for my banking 365 and I suddenly go, oh, there's my code. And I sort of kind of, I don't quite do a fucking shimmy, but I'm sort of chuffed because I kind of go, is it going to be a case of I'm going to have to write that shit down? So, you know, I mean, but for now it seems that it's remembered and I've two different ones. So I'm kind of happy that, and they're both six digits. Anyway, it's the little things.
This meeting, you, Frank, you seem to be so on fire, and I love it. It's
All
something
right.
like it seems like as if this I don't know. I was thinking if this decision to go for the how did you call it, rug reset,
Oh, yes.
was quite a kind of a freeing thing. It felt like it feels
So
like
it could be, who knows? I've actually
right.
had more conversations, more people getting in touch,
Yeah.
wanting to talk about it. It always ends up talking. This conversation seems to always be come up, but yeah, I sort of it's interesting, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I love it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Frank.
Hiya.
You're gonna hate me for this because I've asked you this question about 10 times. I think I even asked you it earlier,
Right.
but I feel like I can't grasp the answer, and if I do, then I don't know.
Right.
Um, but I can't get my head around. Obviously, like we've spoken about how different speakers might have different like thoughts on the news or politics or whatever.
Yeah.
How I don't understand how that's possible if there's no one and if the stories are stories, where's that energy for like the playing in the unreal, like where, how is it possible? Is it not disingenuous, because that's quite a negative word,
Mm.
but is it not, it just seems so at odds with what we're talking about now. It feels like when this meeting is closed it's back in the real and the game is played, but how is that?
Well, unfortunately, this is just what's appearing to happen, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so and this isn't a subject. So it's a communication appearing to happen. And so then it's a total mystery, right? This communication. So this is not a subject. There isn't non-duality. So this communication and that question appearing to be asked is just energetic and just what's happening. Okay, that's the essence of this communication, really. So then, if suddenly there's, so if you're wondering about why, for example, I would do podcasts with doctors during COVID and that sort of thing, I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know how the grass grows. I don't know how this talking is happening, and I don't know anything. I can't, it's just what's happening is the best that I could say. But that then doesn't make it noble. Honestly, uh, I'd prefer the quieter life. I'd prefer to keep my mouth shut. I prefer not. not to be doing any of those things, let's just say. But that's just what appeared to happen. And it's also like this sort of communication is happening. It's sort of a real mystery how this is coming out of this goblet.
But with such discourse and sort of like, I don't know, putting out opinions on certain things, is that not in the real? And would that not require a belief in stories, which to me contradicts? I know you're saying things just are happening,
Well, you
but
see, if I was in a situation where I believed or didn't believe, then I would be in a situation where I'd be in control, and I definitely know how to navigate through everything. So you see, there really is just what's appearing to happen. That's all. So like it's like life is lived how it appears to be. And for example, if my kids are in certain trouble, then probably there's a reaction to protect that. Or if I don't know, pick a scenario, there probably would be a reaction to that. And so definitely as part of this personality is freedom in has always been there. Apparently from when I was very, very young, I broke out of a playpen and went I was two. I broke out of the playpen and went running down the road, and my mum and I was off chatting to some builders somewhere. And so she couldn't keep me in the playpen. And that sort of fits really with anything and everything. So not liking to be told what to do, or that's probably part of the personality type.
mm.
That's our character. So, but at the same time, you see, if I was in control, then I go, well, I'm not going to get involved with that. And I actually really, the COVID stuff never doesn't really come up in the communication. So if I was trying to make a point, it would come up. It never comes up, and I don't seem to engage in it at all, really, in these gatherings. But it did come up, and then it does come up from time to time. There's sort of an instant reaction to things.
But is there not an element of you're talking about those sort of things? So you're talking about COVID, but is
Hmm.
that not in the game as well? Because like it's sort of the insinuation of they're separate individuals that would make rules about COVID or not make rules or not have an opinion. And because you've said before about, I think you said the lion's head, no, the gazelle's head being the lion's mouth or something. And it's just kind of pertains to how these bad things are just happening. And,
No, well, no, when I'm giving the example of the head and the lion's mouth, you're not talking about that, no. I'm saying,
sorry, no. They're sorry. The lion rips the head off the gazelle. Bad things are just happening all the time. That just is the way it is. So, the having opinions on people making, bad decisions and unjust ones, is that not sort of the insinuation that there's a belief that those people are real making those decisions, or you're just saying equally the reaction isn't being done?
well, I suppose I'm just saying that there is what's happening, and then there's a reaction to that, apparently. That if something is said, so when that question is asked, there's a response, and then but it's like if driving down the road is happening, and then there's banging on the horn of the vehicle, or reacting to something like COVID and free speech and all that. Yeah, I would say I would not delineate between any of it really. I would just say that's what's happening. It is also this communication is really doesn't get into the stories too much. You notice, so it's ever so slight. It's seen that that's all a story also. That Frank, I'm reacting to that. It's also a story.
But you say that's just a story, but the things you're reacting to are stories as well. But the
Yeah,
reaction is just
everything is a story. Yeah. So
okay.
there isn't suddenly something then that is. It's you see. I suppose like if you can say if what's said is there's just what's appearing to happen, and that includes absolutely everything, and this is causeless. and that there doesn't need to be a someone who can choose to react to and not react to things, then we'd be in a situation where Frank is in control, and Frank
Ah,
is not going to react to. Frank knows, well, that's not something he's going to react to because he sees this all as a story. Well,
yeah.
Frank doesn't see anything as anything at all.
Okay. Yeah.
But you see, in a sense, there is this, there is also, I can see, and I've seen it all throughout. There's an image held. Say somebody is talking about something like this. There's an image held of how they should be, how they should carry on, and how they shouldn't be this way. They should be this way. They should not talk about X or Y. Um, and it's an image held of how someone would carry on. Do you know what I mean? Like that's really how it always is. And so I don't know. It seems like all the ordinariness comes across here. So getting himself into trouble and talking about COVID, that's only the start of getting himself in trouble. You know, being out for dinner with friends, and then suddenly things come up, and it's like, is a lot of the time now, nothing is said about anything, you know. And certainly this communication is never volunteer, but even political things, it's because discourse doesn't seem to be possible, and total curiosity about looking at things in very different ways. You know, Topsy, you know, there seems to be an infinite curiosity just to talk, just to kind of go, oh, what about this? And then somebody else to have a view and go, oh, right, yeah, I didn't think of that. But not giving a fuck really. But it doesn't, it also in the story of how life is, then that's not, it's like, it's how to be. And so then when apparently talking about something like non-duality, it's then still an image of someone of
Yeah.
how the right way to be. And it's sort of, well, this character then, who it doesn't like all that, doesn't like that somebody should be a perfectly way, it seems anyway. And there's a reaction to that in a way. You know what I mean by that? Like, it's like, I remember being out with, on the razzle dazzle and with a friend. And with a friend who speaks about this, we all know probably what I'm talking about, but whatever. And I can remember there was other people there, and I remember that I remember thinking, and this was maybe in my mind. I remember thinking they imagined that he shouldn't be carrying on the way he was carrying on. They imagine that's not what a non-duality speaker would do. So then it's sticking them in a box of how to be. You and then but like how fucking dull and boring would that be that somebody should have to fit into a certain character type of it would be like when Emily starts talking about this, let's just say it'd be okay, Emily, you're having pints now. I don't think Emily should be having pints, really. Because does that not come, does drinking pints not come from the sense of separation? No, there isn't separation. There's just what's happening. And it's all a mystery. Every part of it. And so therefore there isn't things that can be known. And it's not like one part of this Frank has it all sorted. Oh God. If only one tiny thing. So, so that's the answer to that, apparently.
It's a good answer. That makes sense. Yeah, it's this kind of like image and belief held that there would just be complete neutrality, which is just fucking ridiculous. I despise people that are like that, that sit in the white robes and have bald heads and are like, you should just be free of thought. Like that
Well, I
would
mean,
be
there's no reason
so.
to say anything about the Baldies.
No, I mean they shave.
Oh, no, whatever. It's too late.
No, I mean they shave their heads because they
Oh, of
think hair is a
course. Yeah, good
possession.
recovery.
Fuck.
Ah, the fucking bald bastards.
That's not what I meant at all. But these people that have this idea of purity, it means you're pure.
Yes, yeah,
That's,
yeah.
it's a
You've
good
definitely
thing.
got something, and there
Yeah,
is pure then.
yeah, yeah.
How boring, like there is pure. There is a way to be, and certainly then a way not to be. And then I could surely explain to you how to be and be correctly. And we'd be back in school, and I'd be a teacher with my stick saying, not good. Just you're only allowed to have a half a pint, Emily. Well, I'd get a fuck you pretty quickly, I'd say. So there's no rules. This is totally anarchic and free, and not the imagination of free, simply then how it appears to be being.
Fab. Thank you.
Uh, thank you.
I promise to never ask the same question ever
You
again
didn't
till
ask that
tomorrow.
question. You didn't ask the question. It's just what's happening. It's like there's no ownership to anything at all. So like it is a wonderful sort of mystery, but everything is this mystery. So it was just a question appearing to be asked. How did you do that? Can you write down a process of how that organically came, flooded the senses, and exploded out of the mouth? Can you explain it? I mean, that's pretty good what I said there, actually. Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
just the way I can't explain how quickly what I will have heard will fall out of my brain. Like
Yeah.
it fascinates me, my inability to learn, or like it seems to get worse to hear
Mm.
something and just like lock it away on board.
Yeah,
It's just all very
like you can't even hold on to holding on. So that's why, like, it's a miracle about those pin codes. Two of them, 6 digits, both of them. I could rattle them off now if anybody wants to hear them. But I better not with G-Lot.
I just use the same pins for everything and then you never forget them.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, well, it is actually the same pin. I just put a 00 in front of it because they made us extend it from 4 to 6. Fuck's sake. Mhm.
Better cut this bit out before you upload it to YouTube.
Well, I haven't told you what the other 4 digits are. Did I tell you I told you it was 00? Jesus.
Hmm.
So that master criminal only has to figure out four. Actually, it's fine. That's just my phone one. I have a different one. The two that I'm proud of are totally different. And I'll probably forget them tomorrow. I'm going to blame you if I do.
All right. Cheers, Frank.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah, the apple tree doesn't know that it is an apple tree. I like that, yeah. The doggy doesn't know it's a dog. Life doesn't know that it's life.
We still get some time, right?
Yeah,
Or, yeah. So what I really appreciate is like when can sense when these I don't know, like ruts is a pretty good word, when these almost one-dimensional tracks of thinking are like shaken. When a tree is shaken here, I it's like in the first moments it feels almost like ah, but then it's like aha, I like it because like something is like opening up again and becomes more flexible, and I love that. And um so this meeting today was like quite quite awesome in a way because there is something like shaking the tree, yeah, shaking the apple tree here. I loved it. Thank you.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I thought also that is like that's like what you described in this, like for example getting up in the morning anyways, right? Anyways, and this whole when a change of routine happens, then it's like it can be like but then it's like also like in a way
Mm.
it's like in a way enjoyable. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, somehow it's like it is
Yeah.
this the edge of discomfort sort of idea, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's also constantly the case, simply sitting, not knowing what's going to be said,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
response. So that's it's like it is immediately, um, but also then there's just what's happening. You can't, nothing can be held on to. So, it's like as if there was a process, then there'd be a way, but it's everything. So it's like hot and cold and comfort and discomfort. It's just it's everything.
Mm.
Free then to be exactly as it appears to be being.
Sometimes I've noticed with pain that I don't, this body doesn't respond very well to narcotic painkillers, so I just don't take them. And, and I had both my knees replaced. And what I noticed was that there was a short, fairly, really quite a short period where there was an excruciating pain, quote unquote. And then it just shifted into something else. Like it wasn't a doingness at all, but it
Mm,
just, and then all of a sudden when you guys were talking just then, one of the things that occurred about comfort, which I think, many people in the story are pretty addicted to comfort, like how comfort can become kind of sickening and painful. Like at first it can be really cozy and lovely. And then there's a point where it's just tiresome, you know.
mm.
I don't know, but it was weird. It was like everything was,
It's a
yeah.
sort of a loop of knowing, a safety of knowing, and you could say, but it's like patterns. It's like a cocoon that keeps you safe, but also is very uncomfortable. It's sort of like wanting it to change, but not wanting the change. So it's like, sometimes I feel that's really wonderfully exposed if you take a cold shower and 5 minutes before getting into the cold shower, the toing and the froing and the how this is fucking the stupidest idea ever and how, why would anybody take a cold shower and and then suddenly coming out and the relief of all that being over and changed for till the next time anyway. But let's say, but it's sort of it's just interesting that's what can happen. That's all really. It's not special or anything, but there is a sort of me is the safety of the known. If there was a me, like, it's but I don't even know if that's really accurate, really, but it's like me likes to know, but there isn't a me. So, you know,
It likes things you mean like nailed down, nailed down.
yeah, it's like, it's
Aliveness.
like this is non-duality or it's uncompromising non-duality or whatever the fuck. And that's the case with everything. It's like delineates everything into sort of a chaos into order. But that just seems to how it seems to be like, it's like then also when you know somebody, so they're your friend and you know who they are and how they are, as opposed to, well, it's not really like it's not, and that can be tiresome also, that people feeling like they're known when they don't even know themselves, like, so how can somebody else know them? But what they know is a couple of top level sort of points. Oh, they're this way, they're that way, you know. It's not accurate. But that's what, that's such and such. They dress this way. They, t -t 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 -t. But whatever. So, really, there aren't rules um, at all. And that's the apparent end. Um, so thank you very much. Um, and maybe see you next month.
Thanks,
Well,
Frank. Thanks, everybody.
all right.
Thank you.
I'm going to do some of them emoji things. Where are they? Oh, fuck, I can't find them. How do you do them? React. Play chime for raised hands. That's not any good. No. Right, anyway, I can't figure out how to do
Really
it.
built that up.
Fuck's sake. Where are the emoji thingies gone? More, wouldn't it?
You have to go on to React and then send with effect.
Oh, I'm not, see, that's why I'm so proud of my two pin numbers because everything else is just like so, I'm getting stupid about it. Hold on. There we go. Right. Okay.
Well
Well,
done.
now, there you go. Well done. Right. Okay. Lots of love. See you
Ciao.
later. Bye.